Hi, Wim.
Hi
How are you
guys,
doing? You okay?
Hey,
doing
Wim.
great. Best time in my life.
Good, good, good.
Oh, good, good.
I'm happy. I'm happy how things are going worldwide, where we are
Mm-hmm.
going. Yeah, the Great Awakening is good. That serves me good.
Yeah,
There seems to be some big movements, doesn't there? It does seem that way. It feels that way, Wim, doesn't it? So,
There's a lot of change coming in the world for the better for
mm,
humanity, I think. And I hope,
yeah,
I pray that
yeah,
we're going fast because I've been in this, how can you say it, information war since
mm.
2015. Quite right. Way more longer than Charlie.
yeah, yeah. Because Charlie came. When was Charlie? 2020 when he
Yeah,
came on, was it?
he was
Yeah,
walking on the beach, on his beach.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I never saw them ones. I came in. I started watching them a little bit later than that, but yeah, I never saw the beach ones.
That was funny. He was heavily overweight then, and he did a good job now,
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, good.
slimming down.
Great. Well, today we
Okay,
just wanted,
then.
yeah,
Oh,
we just wanted to talk to you about switching again and the gold silver ratio and do a little bit of a test to
okay.
see if what we did last time has really sunk in, and also just give a little bit more information on what we said last time. Last time it was very the theory of switching and the gold silver ratio, and now we want to, really give some specifics to all those different points and show people what we personally do. So, James, give us a quick disclaimer before we start.
Oh, the disclaimer. We've got to get that in, haven't we?
Hmm.
Yeah. So anybody watching this, especially those who are watching this for the very first time, watching us for the first time, we're not financial advisors. As you can see, we don't wear shirts and ties, and we
Hmm.
probably don't look like the average financial advisors because we're not. Um, we like to make people financially aware. I think that's the best way to explain it. We share
Mm-hmm.
information with families. We only show them what we do for our own families and what we've done for our friends and customers, thousands of customers now. We've helped many, many people get to a better place financially from this education. So it's just education, it's just financial awareness. It's not advice, it never will be. It's not in our DNA, it's not what we do. Okay, so you can have to take it or leave it. But yeah, people who have taken it and gone with it and taken some action steps and started the journey is certainly don't regret it. That's for sure. They're very happy with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're here for. So
Here we go. Let me share my screen. So, Wim, you may remember we talked about the gold silver ratio. And yeah, very good. We just to summarize, when the ratio goes up, gold is expensive, silver is cheap. And when the ratio goes down, gold is cheap and silver is expensive relative to each other.
Yep.
The application of this, the first one, is it tells us what to buy, something everyone can use. And we draw a few lines on the chart of the ratio. We say 60, 80, and 40. If the ratio is 60 and we're looking to buy, we buy 50% gold, 50% silver. If it's 80 or above, it's silver territory, 100% silver, and 40 or below is 100% gold. Does that refresh your memory from the other week?
I remember.
Perfect. So this is what to buy. The next, I guess, application is switching.
okay.
The gold-silver ratio tells us when to switch between gold and silver and back again. And this is the example that we gave last time. We've updated the figures. So starting with 100 grams of gold, let me get this laser pointer here. 100 grams of gold at a ratio of 80, we switch the gold to silver, giving us 8,000 grams of silver, 8 kilos of silver. When the ratio goes back to 60, you switch your 8 kilos back to gold, and that gives you 133 grams of gold, which is essentially 33 grams more than you started with. Currently, that has a market value of about £1,700, maybe 1,900 euros, something like that.
Mm.
So this, again, very quickly, just to recap, is the power of switching. This is how you can make free metal without putting your hand in your pocket. And the limitation for most people buying metals is the cash that they have in their pocket. Well, this opens that up and says, the limitation of cash in your pocket is no longer there. It's only your ability to learn and to action these things. So we're really proud of being able to offer this to people. We've not actually seen another company that enables you to do this. So it's quite unique and very powerful, because it means people can build a better financial future and their cash is not the limiting factor. That's something that is really good, and putting the power back in everyday people's hands.
You could literally buy once if you ever wanted to do that. Buy once, and if you started off with 100 grams of gold, you could end up with 200 grams of gold, 300 grams of gold without actually buying any more. But if you do it the normal way, which most people do it, you know, buying it from a normal bullion dealer, you buy 100 grams of gold and that's still 100 grams of gold in 10, 20 years' time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Big difference, big difference.
Yeah, this is a very important lesson for a lot of people, because you can call this how I can create free silver or free gold.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Because right now, as an example, we've had people that have said, look, we just want gold. I'm not interested in silver. And we go, great. Well, you know, you can have what you want. Of course you can. It's your choice. But if you understand this, if you bought silver today with the ratio being 88, I think it's 88 still or thereabouts right now. If you bought silver instead today and just waited for the ratio to drop, if it just dropped 10 points and you switched it to gold, then you'd have a lot more gold than what you would have had if you just bought gold to start off with. Yeah. It's just being clever. It's being clever, being very, you know, just using this to your advantage. Just by buying silver first, waiting for the ratio to move, then switching it to gold, you're going to have a lot more gold than what you would have started off with.
And this is proven over time. We've updated these figures as well. So let's say in the year 2000, you had £10,000. Yeah, whether it's euros, pounds, dollars, I guess it's all the same, really. £10,000, and you just bought some gold, and then you just held that gold. You didn't switch it. You didn't do anything fancy. At the end of 2023, that £10,000 would be worth around £94,000. So it's done well. It's 23 years, but it's done well. Silver would be around 57, 58, something like that. Okay, so that's simply just buying and holding. If you were to switch between, you bought £10,000 worth of gold and you were to switch at a level of 70 and 80, the value would be 196, nearly £197,000.
That's a lot.
In the same period. So this is why we emphasize switching so much, and why we talk about it, and why we really think it's worth people putting the time and effort into understanding it and learning it, because it can change things massively. Absolutely massively. I mean, look, if you said here, yes, I can get 10,000 to 94,000 in, call it 20 years. Yeah, let's make it round numbers. Let's say in 20 years, you can go from 10,000 to 100,000. Yeah, it's not quite like that, but let's just give an example. Well, just by switching over that same time period, you're doubling your money, and you're making a few switches. I think it was like 10, 11 switches over that time, over 20 years. So you're not sat there up all night on the computer, you know, watching this thing, ready to click the button and, oh, maybe I missed it, or maybe 10, 11 times in 20 years. So it's very easy and doable for most people. Most people haven't got time to be sat looking at charts all day. That's not what this is about. It's about being smart, using your time efficiently, and making your metals work as hard for you as you did to get them in the first place. So, okay, let's look at some examples of what the ratio might look like and what you would do. And we're going to test you, Wim, if you don't mind.
No, you can test me.
Okay. So, scenario one.
I don't know, but you can test me.
No, if you don't know, that's completely fine.
It's just to see if you've been listening. This one.
Yeah.
Pressure's on.
So, scenario one, the gold-silver ratio is at 90. And today you say, look, I want to buy some metal. The ratio is at 90. What would you be buying?
Gold. No, silver. Sorry, silver. 90.
90? Yeah. Silver? Exactly. Yes. You just saved it. Just at the last minute. Yeah,
On the
so
40 is gold. I know that.
yeah, so at 80 and above for us is silver territory. So perfect. Like we're not saying this to kind of make it very, very simple and like dumbing things down. We're telling you, we're giving you these scenarios because this is how easy it is. You go to buy, you look at the ratio, you look at one number, it's 90. Okay, I'll buy silver. That's it. It's as simple as that. Okay, second scenario. Here we go. A little bit more complicated now, Wim. So scenario 2. The gold-silver ratio is at 80. Okay. You purchase some gold at 65.
65, okay.
Yeah. But today it's 80. You want to buy today. What are you buying?
Oh, that's difficult.
Yeah.
Switching.
So today the ratio is 80. So what are you buying?
80 is normally silver.
Silver, exactly. Not a trick. It's not a trick question. So this is for people. Scenario 1 is if you've never bought before, you've never purchased before, and you're just looking to make your first purchase. You just look at the ratio, look at what to buy, and you're done. Scenario 2 is, okay, I want to buy. Today the ratio is 80, but I've also purchased in the past as well, which is often, people often buy more than once. So you purchase gold at 65. Today the ratio is 80. What do you think about switching? Do you switch? Do you not switch?
You purchase gold at 65.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't switch that. I will keep the gold.
You want to keep the gold? Today the ratio is 80. I just want to clarify.
Normally you buy silver on that, but this is a tricky question because it depends on how much you have bought gold.
Okay, let me rephrase this for you. We've done the buying section, so forget buying. Okay, the ratio today is 80. You've decided you're going to buy silver. Fine. Ignore the buying.
Okay.
You purchased gold at 65, a ratio of 65, and now it's at 80. Would you consider switching that gold to silver?
You have to switch.
You have to switch. Exactly. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So if you've bought at 65 gold, which is good, that's fine, no problem. And now the ratio has gone to 80. This is a good time to switch. That's what 15 points difference between the purchase and what it is now. So that's great. We'll take 15 points any day and do a switch.
Yeah, my little brother Wim recently he bought a bunch of gold many years ago when we first started, and he bought it about 65. I think he did 65, 66, 67, and he switched it to silver. I think it's 87. So 20 points difference. It was a huge difference. So he's made a big gain, really big gain.
Remember, Wim, on the previous slide when we were talking about how much, this 10,000 pounds, if you switched it over 23 years, blah, 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 this is what it would make. That was switching at 70 and 80, 10 points difference.
That was just 10 points. Yeah.
Now you have 15 points difference. For us, we're clicking that button every day.
People can make a lot of money with this money.
Yeah.
Without using any cash.
Without using any cash. You make the initial purchase and then you just switch. It's very good. Okay. Third scenario. A little bit more tricky now. Okay. We'll explain this kind of more broadly afterwards. So scenario 3. Today the gold-silver ratio is 85. Okay.
Normally silver, but
you're way ahead of me. So for buying silver, great. Let's forget the buying for now. You've got that down. You purchase silver at 110. Okay, the ratio is 110 and you purchase silver. The ratio's now come down to 85. Do you want to switch?
Switch to gold? Yes.
Yeah, okay. Now, you're not wrong in saying that. You're with the information, obviously there's a big enough gap. We just want to show you why we wouldn't switch, and we bring this up as a special scenario to educate people. So this is like the exception to the rule almost. Okay. So you're totally right with the information that we've given you. Buying at 110, today it's 85, you bought silver 110, do you switch to gold? In normal circumstances, yes, we're switching all day long.
And you would make a big gain.
Yeah, when you make a real big gain. The reason we want to bring this up is this actually happened in the last few years, and it made us think, we need to be aware of this. So 110 is up here. 85 is down here. If you think about your switching, let's say you bought silver here, you switch here. What you're then waiting for the ratio to do is to go back up, aren't you? You need the ratio to go up from 85 to switch again. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Let me just zoom out and show you how rare it is for the ratio to hit 110.
That's
very rare. Yeah.
never happened. Almost.
This is it
Right
up
back
here.
to 1968 there, Wim, if you can see it.
Yeah. So 1968 is when the data starts. Up to the current day, it's hit it once.
Okay.
So if you purchased here 110, you switch to 85, you'd be waiting a long time. We don't know whether it would even happen again in our lifetime, that it would go up to here. So with this, we put some rules in place to protect us from these extremes here and these extremes down here. And we've put them into some set rules to protect people. Can we share those with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're buying, you've nailed this bit, you already know this. If the ratio is 80 or above, 100% silver, this is for buying. If it's 60, 50, 50. If it's 40 or below, 100% gold. That's easy. I think most people get that. Here's how we do it for switching. You make a note. This is three steps. Step one, make a note of the ratio on the day that you purchase. This is your first ratio, okay? So if the ratio was 110, okay, that would be your first ratio. So you make a note of that. Second point is you decide on a second ratio, a minimum of 10 points away from your first ratio. So let's go with that example, 110. And we pick 10 points away, so we pick 100. I know this is counter what we've just said, but just go with me. The third point is what saves us all. If the first ratio, your 110, is above 90, which it is, 110, then your second ratio should be between 75 and 65, somewhere down like that. Okay? So if it's 90 or below, 10 points is enough. But if it's above 90, then you need to go between 75 and 65. And here's the reason. Let me just go back to this screen here. The ratio likes to interact in this middle section, okay? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that if you bought up here, 110, you want to make sure that your second switch is in this zone so that when you go to switch again, you don't have to go outside of this zone. You don't have to wait for the extremes. It brings you back into this frequently active zone. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So make a note of your ratio on the day you purchase. Pick a ratio that's 10 points away. Usually it would still be within this. You know, if you pick 88, then you would pick 78, for example. You're still within this frequently traded zone. And if it's 90 or above, just pick something that's really low, between say 65, 75, and then that just sets up all of your next switches that you can hit them easily. You don't have to wait for, you know, some freak event to happen and the ratio goes, you know, really, really high. So these are the rules. If you can do those, you can stick to those, it will make sure that you profit, make more metals, and also stay protected, and you're not out in the extremes, you know, in no man's land, waiting for this high ratio again. If people stick to those, they shouldn't go too far wrong. That's what we do for ourselves.
Amazing video.
Yeah, maybe people have to watch it a couple of times to really let it sink in. But when you look at how much you can make, and you divide that by the number of hours that it takes, it's a good hourly rate. It's a good return on your time invested.
Oh, yeah, is it ever? Yeah. You've always got to think about the next switch, Wim. That's what we're basically saying. You've always got to think about where's the next switch going to be. You know, if you purchase yourself at 110 and you switched at 100, your next switch would have to be, 10 points higher again. So that's not good enough, is it? So you just wait for it to come down further into the frequent range, below 80.
Can I ask you a
That'll
question?
make sense.
Yeah, go ahead.
If people are investing in gold money in, of course, precious metals in Goldbusters, are they getting notified by you guys to switch, or do they have to look for themselves?
So here's what we do. On our Telegram channel,
Perfect.
we actually put on when we're switching and why we're switching. So, for example, we also tell people what we're buying and why we're buying it. So, for example, we might say, today, we buy every 2 weeks. So they'll get these messages very often. Today, we are buying silver because the ratio is 8:8. Then we might say the ratio, let's say in a month's time, the ratio has come down to 75. We would say, today we are switching our silver that we purchased at 88 to gold because the ratio today is 75. So we don't tell people exactly what to do. We just tell them what we're doing, and we provide the videos and the education. And between all of that, most people get it. Once you've figured this stuff out, you go, it's not that complicated. It just takes a bit of effort initially.
And how can get people in contact with you guys?
Yeah, so they just click on the link and get in contact, and we'll send them some information and let them know how they can proceed to buy metals, to switch. Just one other thing to note as well, Wim, we do something called a switching clinic, where we do a webinar. It's usually about once a month, something like that. It's free. People can join that webinar, and it's just about switching. We just go into detail about switching. People can ask their questions. Okay, I bought metal here, this ratio, when should I switch, or what do you think, or can you look at my investments, blah, blah, blah. And we just give our honest answer about people's personal questions, all to do with switching.
It works really well, Adam, doesn't it? People seem to love it. It works really well. We get a lot of good feedback from that clinic, don't we? Yeah.
The reason we do it is because it can return the most free metal to the most people. So that's why we should do it. We should emphasize it. So
we're going to mention the US too, Adam.
Yeah, so currently people in the US, they can obviously use the gold silver ratio to work out what to buy, like everybody else. Currently, people in the US can't currently switch using the system that we have, but we're working really, really hard to make that possible. And we are hopeful that we can make an announcement in the very near future that the people in the US will be able to switch. So yeah, keep your ears open. When we have that all sorted out, we'll be shouting from the rooftops. You'll hear us, don't worry.
We'll be doing a dance.
Thanks, James, for this beautiful video and education.
Perfect. Pleasure. Thanks for joining us, Wim.
Yes, no problem at all, Wim.
We'll see you next time.
You take care, mate.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.